Hi everyone, Drew with Dru Talks. Just standing outside in my chicken run. Thought I'd make a quick video. So I'm the current vice chair of the Libertarian Party. I wasn't elected into the position. The woman who was elected never finished her term. And so the board appointed me. And at the end of September, my time as the vice chair will be up. And we are putting in a new vice chair. I think I know who it's going to be, and she is awesome, so I'm super excited about that. I think she will be a great leader during the next election year, which I think is going to be a bloodbath. I'm already seeing a lot of tribalism online. People always seem to act like it truly matters which one of the big government candidates gets in. I've been politically involved since Ron Paul's 2012 running. I've been very interested in politics, and I have been very active since COVID hit in 2020. I've kind of come to the conclusion that we cannot win. And I do not mean the Libertarian Party, I mean the Liberty Movement. And the reason I think that is not because the establishment is not going to let us win. Don't get me wrong, the establishment doesn't want us at all, mostly because we would cut their exploitation of the American people. And really that's what it matters. Both sides of the aisle, they want that money. I think we cannot win because I do not think the American people actually want us to win. And the reason I've come to this conclusion is Congress is downstream of culture. Right now, the biggest hurdle we face as the American people, the biggest crisis that is looming that will end this country, is our national debt is out of control. But it's very hard to convince American this is a bad thing when all the American people are in debt. You try to convince American they should buy a dumpy old car because that's the cash they have, whereas they could get a loan for an $80,000 new pickup, and they'll feel like you asked for their firstborn child. People do not want to live without their credit cards, without their car payments, without their college loans. I mean, college is a human right? So we're all going to go into debt to go there. God forbid you just go get a job. But with an entire society built on debt, how can you convince them that the national debt will end this country? Somebody, I think it was Spike Cohen, put online that the greatest item cost on our national budget is just our interest payment to our debt. It's not even the military industrial complex. It's not even all these juggernaut programs like Medicare, Medicaid. It is all debt, and that's not sustainable. It's also very hard to convince the American people that we need to make a change when they are more interested in getting their programs. You see this with the boomers and the Social Security. Social Security is broke. It's robbed. They totally plundered all that money out of that program. So when you say, oh, I paid into this, I get what I get, it's not true. You're actually robbing your great-grandchildren. But the problem is people don't care about that. They want theirs. Welfare business owners are taking handouts, and they're saying, well, everyone else is doing it and I can't compete unless I do. So we have an entire culture of people that are stealing and are comfortable with it. They are comfortable with being lazy. They don't want to do what's hard. And they don't really see anything immoral with socialism. A huge failing in this country is the American churches. They are very, very comfortable not feeding the poor because they don't want to get the city government mad at them. They're very comfortable with just shuffling the single moms off to WIC or whatever government program there is. There is not a movement of people to actually change what they are doing. They don't want libertarians to win because they want the socialism schools so they have a place for daycare. And that's the long and short of it. How are we supposed to win when the people are just living like parasites on this entire system, and any change would require change in their personal life? So people think that they can just go into the ballot box every few years and vote for their candidate and they're making a difference. The truth is, you're not making a difference. Your candidate is not going to do anything. And I know this because I live in the capital city, and I am telling you that for every good bill that you present, it is a nightmare to get those good bills passed. You will have to bring in an army of people. Good luck finding an army of people in the working class who have time to go hang out at the Capitol. So you're going to have to bring in an army of people. It's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars, and they will fight you every step of the way for one good bill. And so you'll sit there fighting for this one really good bill. Meanwhile, they will be passing 20 terrible bills, mostly on spending, without blinking an eye, without any effort, just zipping them right through. But they get a good bill, they will balk on it. And Eastern Montana, pay attention to this. You guys have candidates that run unopposed, so you get really terrible candidates out there. These guys are not limited government. They just know if they put an R behind their name, they're going to get in there. And then they get bought by the lobbyists. So if you think that by just going and doing your civic duty and voting, you're making a difference, you're not doing anything. I have always voted. And at this point, I mean, what's the point? I mean, unless something radical happens in this next election, do you think spending is going to be cut at all, like the way it needs to be? We're talking 90% of the government. Do you think that is going to happen? Do you think they're going to end the military-industrial complex? Probably not. Do you think they're actually going to look at these juggernaut programs and reduce them back? Do you think the FDA is going anywhere? The CDC? These massive programs that totally stripped the Bill of Rights away? Nope. They're probably going to get more funding, no matter who is president. And I remember Dr. Ron Paul saying this on a debate stage one time. You can just kind of passively ignore the warnings that the people who care about economics are telling you, and you can continue to kick the can down the street. But it will end, because the path we are on, unless something drastically changes, we are going to have World War III. And unless something drastically changes, we definitely will have the dollar collapse. America will end. At least its empire will. Everyone who says, oh, that's nice, somebody else can go fight this battle, somebody else can go do this work. Do you have the capability to be hungry? Are you worried about what might happen to your children if a war on this soil breaks out? Do you want to see unlimited chaos happen? Because that is what you are basically saying, is that you want somebody else to go fight this battle so you can sit in comfort, because that just isn't something that interests you. It should interest you. Any mother in this country should care passionately about what is happening. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you can just not care and you can kick the can further down the road, which is what the whole boomer generation is doing, because they want their programs, they want their Medicare, they want their Social Security. They don't care if we are in wars. They don't care about the cost in human life. They don't care about what happens in the future to the dollar. They're just hoping to kick the can far enough down the road where it won't affect them, which is by far one of the most selfish things I have ever seen. Gen Xers, I've seen a lot of attitude of, well, if I don't take the program, someone else is going to take the program, and that's how you get ahead. I'm a millennial. I am the first generation that started to feel the effects of these really terrible policies as a whole. And I am tired of having older generations say all we need to do is pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We don't have the opportunities that they had because they squandered all of our money. Part of me wants to look up at the older generations and say, well, you want a retirement? Maybe you should just pull yourself up by your bootstraps because there is no Social Security. You want your medical bills paid for? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. There is no program left for this. It's not mathematically possible to continue these programs. So anyway, voting does almost nothing. What we need to see is a huge culture change, because at this point, they do not want the limited government people in there, because they are more worried about getting federal funding for their helicopters than they are about ending wars overseas. It's the unfortunate truth. The American people are selfish. All right, share your comments. Not feeling very hopeful right now.